Hi, so this video is going to talk about my top 5 issues that I'm most passionate about and that I believe are very impactful. And if we, as a country, were able to come together and really tackle these issues, which need to be tackled in different angles by different people. And really, everybody plays a part in the success of fulfilling them to be positive rather than very negative, which they are today. So my first topic is the wealth disparity. And currently I'm in the Harold Washington Library. I'm in the piano room, which is free. It's really the only space that I have currently that is private. So I'm living currently at a nursing home because I do not have money. I have bipolar 1 disorder, and that has landed me in the hospital many times. So yes, I am currently without my own home, but in the process of being in a program to gain independence financially and physically in my own apartment. So the wealth disparity. In my own example, I've worked very hard. There hasn't been a time in my life where I haven't put forth effort to my well-being, the well-being of those I love the most, and the well-being of those in my community. It's just always been something that I felt impassioned about at a very young age. People look to me as a leader, and I took that very seriously. So it has led me to be very passionate about service. So that's my case of my effort in working, and given my disability of having bipolar disorder, it limits my ability to attain a full-time job and certain types of work. And my example is like many others, whether that be mental or physical. Many of us, have issues or disabilities, limitations as to what kind of work they can fulfill on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis. It's such a massive topic, the wealth disparity, right? So when I was a freshman in college, that was 2009, I was working with Chicago Coalition for the Homeless in 2010, but that's freshman school year. And my mentor, who makes me smile, I guess I can mention her name, Hannah Willage. She taught me a lot, but one thing that she made me very aware was, and I think she just said it, and I think I had read it too, but the combination made it like, what? And that's, the 99%. And the 1%, and the amount of money the 1% holds compared to the 99% of the population in the country. And I think it's something, I don't have the facts, but they're somewhere. But the idea that the 1% holds about 80% of the money, the total wealth in the country, and that, to me, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And whether even that be 60%, it still does not make sense to me. So that's the issue, right? The amount of money the few have compared to the many. That's like the basic, or not borderline, but like baseline, like it is not right. Like we are not in, we're not where we're supposed to be. And then like, I think of like, okay, so here, my like emotional understanding of the difference of being wealthy, like having money, and not having money. We did DePaul ran in a specific organization within the university. I forgot who it was, but probably university ministry. But it was like, I wish I had the words for it, but what it was an event, and you picked a card, and you either had rice and beans for dinner, or you sat at a table, you ate rice and beans and you sat on the floor, or you picked the card that you sat at a table and ate like a real fancy meal. And there was only 2 to 3 people at the table and about 10 plus people on the floor. And I did it twice, and I was lucky enough that the first time I ate the rice and the beans and I sat on the floor and I was like, this is good. Rice and beans are really tasty. And like I looked up to the table and I was like, well, that doesn't seem right. I like to sit on chairs. They're very comfortable. So that was the first time. And then the second time I was able to sit at the table, and I think there was only one other, there might have been 2 other people, but I remember only seeing one other person. And I was sitting at the table and I was like, and like every, like 10 plus people were sitting on the floor. And I was like, you know, this is, I looked at my meal and I was like, oh, this looks really nice. Like, it looks really good. And this chair, it's really comfy. The table has a nice tablecloth. And like, I got it. I was like, I get people who have money and like don't want to share because they fear like they'll lose what they have, what they always had, what they enjoy. And right after that feeling, that thought, it's not right. It's not right that people are eating minimal food, minimal nutrition, sitting on an uncomfortable ground, uncomfortable environment, while there's just a few enjoying a really fancy nutritional meal on a comfortable chair. Yeah, so getting to that point, like, it's not right. Like, I get it. Like, I get the feelings and emotions, but that doesn't make it right. So that's, like, my emotions, like, understanding the different views that are so, that get so combative depending who's talking or who's sharing. But there's just, it's just not right. So those are the baseline feelings, and then possible solutions as to the wealth disparity. There's so much, right? Like employment, services, opportunities, resources that are involved in creating a more equal country as it pertains to wealth. Specifically financial is my focus, because right, like you could be eating rice and beans every day and you could be an artist and you could be the happiest person in the entire world, right? Making money enough and to get by. And so the quote live simply so others may simply live. I have that as my Facebook quote, as my political view. Because, at the end of the day, what do you need, right? You need to fuel the body, and you need to fuel the mind. So in providing people with services and opportunities and resources to attain those, and in a way that upholds their human dignity. That's a huge one that I learned at DePaul, and just a huge concept that I think is kind of lost within our political system, our economic system, that would benefit us so much more if we had in the back of our mind human dignity. Like, to give people the opportunity in employment that uplifts them, right? That stretches them, that gives them a sense of purpose. That's, I think, a part of the wealth disparity, that if those opportunities and resources were given to people who have limitations, disabilities, to really be a part of their community and thrive, and be able to provide themselves with those things necessary to live a fulfilling life. That we don't need much. And as far as the movement of money, right? Because people who have money, like, and families who have always had money, well, they're probably always going to have money, and a lot of money. And I don't know if that's a human, like, just the evolution of families, and I don't know how that works. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm from a working class family, and I just never understood that, but I do understand, like, people who do create, make, and build, and organizations and material and work that really uplifts society, or provides something that no other human has been able to do. Right? So there are rights to, like, all that jazz. Point is patronage, or being patrons. I wrote a poem, or a few, about people who do have money for whatever reason, and to be patrons of education, of music, of health, like providing services. There's many topics, but in fueling the human population, as well as animals, living things, I just believe so much that we as a country can really come together and solve the issue of the wealth disparity. And we really don't have time, right? People are really struggling, and they just need some help. So there's a lot to it, right? Because the human person can be very messy. But the point is that if we put our minds together and really have conversations, people of all different financial statuses, and people to trust in others who are professionals and understand how to communicate and create documentation and literature and guidelines for opportunities and resources to those who don't have the financial means to gain it. And again, over and over again, I will continue to say the importance of what we really need as human beings: nutrition, physical strength, or stretching, or movement, and to express, whether that be in conversation or through music or art, or we don't need much, but we do need opportunities to access in order to learn and grow and be the people that we always wanted to be, right? There's a lot of systematic injustices, and much of it is rooted in wealth and the fluctuation and retention and output of it. So that is the first issue that I will talk about, or that I did talk about, that are major to me. And so my next one is asexuality. So I'm going to take a pause and get back at you.